Resistance stretching, such a great modality of therapy to improve flexibility, all while increasing your strength, just by adding movement and a little bit of resistance to every stretch, as opposed to just static stretching where you're not moving at all. One of my favorites, quadriceps and hip flexor. Such a great way to open up this area. So it's not just about strengthening your hamstrings and your glutes so the quads don't do all the work, but it's really important to stretch this area as well, especially if you're doing a lot of sitting. So you want to make sure that you grab a mat, and I'm basically just making sure I have enough padding, propping my back foot up against the wall, making sure your front leg's at 90, and most importantly, make sure that your lower back is rounded. So you want to make sure that your hip is tilted underneath, rounding your lower back so you get a much more effective stretch all the way down your thigh and at the front of the hip. So all throughout this entire movement, you want to kick your foot and push your foot up against the wall as you move forward and as you go back. This will help to open up that area just that much more. So the further your knee is, or the closer the knee is to the wall, the more intense it's going to be. So the stretch is going to be right there where the hip sits over the knee. So you'll feel the hip flexor on the way forward, quad on the way back, making sure your back stays rounded. Hamstrings. In order to open up the quads, you want to make sure that you have that good balance. Hamstrings are really important too. So when you open up the opposite side, it helps both. So I'm doing the complete opposite on the hamstrings, making sure my hip is now tilted forward. My lower back is not rounded, it's arched. Always remember to keep a soft bend in the knee, as is with everything. We never want to lock our knee. So I'm now pulling my toes towards my chest. So I'm pulling my toes on the front foot back, all while pushing the heel into the ground. That's where the resistance comes in. And this is going to help to open up the hamstring even more. Making sure your back is straight the whole time. I'm leaning forward, all while pushing the heel into the ground the entire time, on the way forward and on the way back. You want to keep pushing the heel throughout the whole movement. Same tempo at about a 3-2-1. And you want to do about 8 to 10 reps per side. Back is straight, pushing the heel into the ground the whole time. Soft bend in the knee. Piriformis and glutes. Piriformis sits really close to the sciatic nerve. It's really important to keep this area open, especially if you have low back pain. So, slow motion again just to show you. You want to make sure that your knee is in line with your hip on the front leg. Basically like a slight push-up. So again, opposite. You're not tucking your hip under or letting it round. You're actually letting your back arch, pushing into the ground, all while pushing the knee into the ground too, so you're adding a little bit of resistance so you can feel that glute open up even more. One of my favorite ones. Keeping the leg straight in the back if you can. If not, I'll show you another way that you can do it. So again, 3-2-1 tempo. I'm pushing my knee into the mat so I can feel it in the glute even more. That's the resistance, where the resistance is going to come in, so you can feel that glute open up. So this will help with back pain, with hip tightness. It helps the total body. Hips and glutes are such a huge part of our core and how our body moves and functions properly. So if you can't keep that leg straight, if you don't have the flexibility to do that yet, you can bend your knee so it's at 90 degrees in the back leg. Make sure that your knee on the back leg is in line with your hip so it's at 90 degrees. Again, 3-2-1, keeping the knee pushed into the ground the entire time. Feels great. Awesome, awesome job.